She heard it again, through the smoke and the rain. It knew where she was. It called out her name. Iria! Through the forest of bone and decay, the remnants of flowers at her feet led her in the right direction. The haunting howl of the beast's victims chasing her as the sun chased the moon. A vault across a river brought her needed time, but she stumbled shortly after and crashed to the ground. Frozen in the moment, the ground was shaking beneath her from the beast's movements. She heard it again. The smoke and the rain grew in thickness. Its perpetual beating washed away the dirt from her body. The beast was close. Her eyes surveyed the smoke in front of her, and she could see the eyes of the monster glaring back at her. Thick, concrete-like skin covered the outside, linked to a multitude of wings with sharp, pointed tips. The smoke, the rain, then its arms suddenly above her. A jut to the left to avoid the incoming attack saw Iria safely away from the beast. The mad dash resumed as trees crumbled in the beast's wake. If she did not defeat it here, it could be her homeland, Bawal, that fell next. She ran out of the forest into an open, muddy field. The monster struggled to break free of the trees around it. Iria took this moment to turn around. Breath consumed, fortitude regained. She planted her barbed metal boot into the dirt below, summoned her 6 swords, and pointed them in the direction of the beast. She heard it roar again, through the smoke and the rain. It knew where she was. It called out again. It called out her name. Iria! This time it rang through an open field. Iria took a deep breath and recalled how she got to this moment. She joined the Dragon Knights of Bawal a few weeks prior. Immediately, she became one of their strongest. Not only did she possess unmistakable strength and fighting ability, but she was born with a rare art that allowed her to control and manipulate her own pocket dimension. Having also been born with 6 arms, this allowed her to equip herself with a multitude of weapons in a short amount of time to combat her foes. On top of that, she inherited an aura from the demons who plagued Chroma, the war-torn, apocalyptic Earth she called home. This aura brought about her opponent's deepest, darkest fears. Iria! The beast yelled once more before emerging from the forest. On this particular day, it was Iria who found herself frightened. Her opponent was one of the largest in the Dragonkin ranks. The Dragonkin had been terrorizing Chroma for months, and the Dragon Knights were tasked with keeping them in check. Iria was separated from her comrades in this fight, and it was just her and the beast. Iria cemented her other boot in front of her and put the sword in her top left arm straight ahead to point at the Dragonkin. Bane Warclaw, she spoke under her breath. She did not know what would come next, but she knew she needed to be prepared for anything. Then the Dragonkin moved. It was quicker than she anticipated and led with its large head and left shoulder. The impact against her swords threw her into the air and sprawled her out in the mud. Most of her swords escaped her and landed around her, as Bane did not let up his assault. It started with a punch from the large Dragonkin's fist, which Iria used her remaining swords to block. The closer Bane got, the more time the Dragonkin spent near Iria's aura, and the more it began to irritate him. She could not tell what the Dragonkin was experiencing. She wasn't sure if there was anything the beast was actually afraid of, but she could tell that it was starting to work. Bane Warclaw jumped back on its large legs and galloped from left to right, each step kicking up mud as it moved. It roared and blew fire, which caught the trees nearby that circled around the field. Iria took this time to regain her weapons and readied herself for the next attack. Her demon aura circled her and began to reveal itself to the dragonkin. This only made Bane more upset as it continued to roar into the night sky. The rain was still falling, but it was hard to tell through the flames. Iria readied her blades and attacked with a graceful fury that caught even Bane by surprise. The flames crackled, the rain pelted the mud beneath them, and Iria swung each sword with the purpose of blood and death.